Well, in the original movie, Frank Beardsley was a Navy guy. But in remaking this movie, we sort of leaned to Coast Guard. A couple reasons. You know, Coast Guard sort of just kind of felt right for the character and felt right for the times. There's sort of a, you know, a national security, keeping the home front safe thing about the Coast Guards that we like.
Is this all yours, Admiral?
No, it belongs to the Coast Guard. I'm just gonna run it for them.
So it is all yours?
Basically.
This film, along with other things and a lot of documentaries work that we do, helps get, it's another means for us to get visibility of the Coast Guard out to the public. Films like this are great for us to show, like as an example, that we do have a service academy, that, you know, Mr. Quaid is playing the superintendent of the Coast Guard Academy, who's a two-star admiral in charge of the academy and all the grounds and services there.
It seemed like the right mix for who this character was, to be, yes, you know, an admiral and with aspirations to be, you know, the commandant, but at the same time, he'd be working with cadets and he'd be working in sort of a teaching type of a position.
We have a motion picture liaison office that basically coordinates with the entertainment industry for any potential requests to have access or portrayal of the Coast Guard on television or film. We get involved in fictional portrayal of the Coast Guard on screen.
It's my kids.
There's a whole scene at the end of the movie where a sailboat, you know, Frank Beardsley is going to sail off on his cutter, and the kids have to save it. They have to stop him. So they race out on a sailboat, which they've completely failed to work earlier in the movie, but now they've pulled themselves together and the sailboat races out to meet this Coast Guard cutter. It's pretty dramatic and romantic. A lot of the stuff in the original that I thought was particularly charming was the, you know, life with 18 kids. In a sense, I didn't want to make this movie all about, gosh, what's it like living with that many kids, because I felt it had been done so well.
With this, we kept the spirit of the movie, but the plot of the original movie we didn't keep. So we had to, you know, invent that.
Sometimes I think studios ask for, you know, a scene-for-scene remake. But in this case, they really just wanted the spirit of the film. They didn't want a shot-for-shot or a scene-for-scene.
Life isn't the loving, it's the dishes and the orthodontist and the shoe repairman and ground round instead of roast beef. And I'll tell you something else. It isn't going to bed with the man that proves you're in love with him. It's getting up in the morning and facing the drab, miserable, wonderful, everyday world with him that counts.
And then we decided that we could further differentiate their characters, the husband and wife characters, by playing off the military angle and having him be a kind of guy who runs his life like the military and runs his kids like the military.
Let's go, let's go, let's go! Move it, move it, move it!
Move it, move it, move it!
That means you too, Ethan. Head ashore, sailor.
Aye, aye, sir. Head ashore.
In a movie with this many kids and this big a cast, yes, of course, there's specific moments where that performance has to be great, but in a sense, the kids as a group become a character.
Go Kelly! The other team is smelly. They're quaking like they're jelly. We got sisters from New Delhi.
I'll never forget the first day. We went to the set the first day of shooting, and first day of shooting was outside Helen's house. And we had written it in the script. We wanted it to be pink because she's the kind of woman who'd have a house like nobody else's. And we got to the set, and there's this huge pink house. You know, and Ron was like, wow, I can't believe you found a pink house. And the production designer was like, we couldn't find a pink house. We painted this one pink. And we were like, oh my God, what if we'd written purple? And she said, whoa, we would have painted it purple. It's not often that writers, you know, working in their little rooms actually get to see that kind of thing happen. So it was exciting.
Do you like these better? Okay. Well, then I think you're set.
Thank you.
Love you.
Let's get this party started. Who wants a double stuffed?
Helen cried herself to sleep tonight. We should be ashamed. It's all our fault.
My mom was happier with your dorky dad than I've seen her in years. And we totally screwed it up.
But this is what we wanted, remember? 2 separate families?
Yeah, but I didn't know it would feel like this. Yeah.
It's a high-endurance cutter. It's 378 feet in length. She was actually returning from training that they were conducting down at the naval base in San Diego and returning to home port. So she normally operates out of Alameda, but does a lot of patrols either up in the Alaskan waters on international fisheries patrols or down on the Eastern Pacific.
They gave us, they stopped in LA for a couple days and gave us full run of it.
We strive at really trying to show the front line of the Coast Guard, the men and women that are out there on the boats and the planes and the helicopters doing the job. I mean, it's great to get them. It's a great morale boost to get them on screen.
Coming down to the bridge. Welcome aboard, sir.
It's a nice benefit for us to do it where it doesn't really detract us from operations, but at the same time we get the visibility on film that's going to do good things for us to get the notice of the Coast Guard out there. It's a great thing for everybody.
Right.
It's
yeah.
hard
I don't know.
I don't know what I tell a
Be
kid.
prepared for to be let down. I guess. You know. I mean, you gotta.
Nah, that's don't go
No, I'm just saying for
Yeah,
it's like
it's not what you think it
No,
is.
you
It's
gotta
not what's
work.
cracked
Yeah,
up to be.
exactly.
It's a lot of hard work
and a lot of
Long
being
hours.
turned away and having to still
Rejection.
Want, exactly. You have to. That's what I was.
Rejection.
Yeah. Yeah.
We were afraid
Things being different,
with people who are different.
but now we know that we're a lot better together than we are apart.
Fire! Fire!
Help! Everyone, out of the house!
Victory to the North, kids.
Drake is, obviously a big star in the Nickelodeon world. And no matter where we went, any location we went to, or we had Dennis Quaid and Ray Rousseau there, and all the kids were like, Drake!
I guess maybe it was a mistake to talk up the party online.
He's just the greatest guy about it. I mean, he was just so gracious and so nice with the kids, and for being sort of our biggest kid star, he's really sort of the most giving and the most open.
Hey, they're little, all right? They're biologically protected by the cuteness factor.
He really had that upright military posture. I mean, he'd done a couple, I think it was in Pearl Harbor, and so he'd done the boot camp thing, and he'd done that character, and he had the haircut, but he also had that 1,000-watt smile and that charm and that ease about him. So he was a really nice combination of exactly who the character we wanted, but with still a nice level of charm. I mean, it's got to be hard adjusting to the rejection that every actor goes through, and those kinds of things. When someone else gets a part, or you don't get a part, and you don't know why. And sometimes it's just, well, you weren't the right look, and that's something that you can't control. So you did everything else great, but I just didn't look right. And so there's a lot of things that go into acting, not just for children. I mean, actors in general, they have to deal with. So I imagine that's a bit of a challenge.
You just have to be, completely dedicated, and it's something that, I mean, it's hard, it's hard to deal with all the rejection, but when you get the parts, that's what, it takes care of all that,
Ready, backward action, and action.
Working is the fun part.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
all the true work goes into auditioning, classes, preparing, researching, getting your characters developed. That's where all the work comes in.
I would say if it's your dream, definitely pursue it, because it can be tremendously rewarding. Even if it's in local theater, even if you're acting, you don't necessarily have to come to Hollywood and be a star to act. I mean, if acting is your passion, then by all means act.
Cut! Perfect! That's good!